Sim racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Yes, the outside line through the final corner for the final time. Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerit at the line.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Welcome, race fans, to the Martinsville Speedway. Brennan, we're here tonight at Martinsville in Ridgeway, Virginia for the third race of the Martinsville weekend here in the NMNTS. And, Bud, this is going to be a hectic one, I think. We're at Martinsville with the Cup cars, and I don't think these cars are going to play nice.
No, from what I've seen in practice so far, they really like to step out on the exit of the corners, so I think it's definitely going to be a handful tonight.
We're currently watching the second lap, I believe, from last week's winner at Auto Club Speedway, Cody Spiker. Oh, and he just destroyed the outside wall. Fortunately, that 22 is not going to get another lap down, so we'll switch up cars here. Looks like PJ Popham is doing pretty well so far in qualifying. We'll watch his lap here for a moment, but you know, I got the chance to do one or two races in these cars over the week when the iRacing official races were here, and it was hot. So considering the track was hot, the sun was beating down on the concrete and the asphalt, it was a really hard track and really hard car to drive. But these guys have a nice cool weather. Brandon, let's quickly go over that weather action.
Alrighty. Tonight, just like last night, it's going to be overcast, 65 degrees with the track temp. Ambient temp is 65 degrees with the track temp is 65 as well. Afternoon setting, I think it was that last night. Actually, it may have been later. Don't quote me on that one. Winds north at 9 miles an hour, 68% humidity, so a little bit lower. But overall, pretty much the same track as yesterday.
Yeah, these guys will be dealing with a lot of the same, I guess, driving techniques in these Cup cars as last night. I think these are the two most comparable races over the entirety of the weekend. You go back to Sunday night, the Super Late Model race. It wasn't super hot. It was definitely still very cool, but you had the sun on the track at least. There was a little bit of heat that built up, and you know it was a bit looser, but the car was a bit tighter. So it was just in many different ways it was way different. But I think last night and tonight will compare somewhat closely, considering both of these setups are built to be a little bit loose on exit and tight in unless you have enough rear brake to loosen it up. So we'll see how these guys do. I think there's actually a few similarities, like I said. And it'll be interesting to see how they tackle this place right now. Zach Lindgren trying to put down a qualifying time. You see Jeffrey Ford out there as well. A lot of these guys just doing what they can. So if you're new to the NMNTS Racing Series, there are 3 divisions that run back-to-back-to-back nights that are broadcast here on Pit Stop TV. And those are the NMNTS Super Series on Sunday nights, the NMNTS SimSpec Championship Series on Monday nights. We had that race last night. It did get canceled, though. And then we have the NMNTS BA Graphix Cup Series on Tuesdays that you're watching here. If you haven't tuned into one of the previous 2 races, make sure you do so. It's a lot of fun. No matter which race you tune into, there's always some sort of action. And right now, we're looking at one of the guys that I thought would be a favorite to win last week at Auto Club. Didn't really get it done, had a couple of issues, and now tonight, looks like he's just not the fastest car on the track. Anthony Colantuono right now looks like at about 18th position in qualifying, Brennan.
Yeah, time-wise, yeah, he's about a second off, if that's like a true lap for him, maybe just picking to stay towards the back of the field, which I wouldn't quite necessarily think anyone would want to do here in Martinsville. It's a tough spot to be in here. It's not quite like the speedways and the super speedways where it's pretty easy to work through guys, so hopefully he can catch up to the pace here pretty quick and be on his way and maybe work his way through the field.
Yeah, Brennan, that's exactly right. I tried to employ the strategy of starting in the back in a couple of my own races just to get a feel for what would be happening these last couple of nights, and that was the wrong idea, period. If you can get up to the front, you want to stay there at all costs because it is just the calmest place on the racetrack, and generally at Martinsville, there's no calm places on the racetrack, so for there to be any kind of pavement here where it's a little bit calm, or a little bit more calm, you want to be out front. It's pretty much the best place you can be as far as keeping that car together. Obviously, though, you have to run pretty hard to be up there, and you have to have the speed, so it's difficult. It's not easy, but if you can do it, that's the place to be. Well, Brennan, I think that'll run us out to the end of qualifying. We do get to talk to a new face, Blake O'Connell. We haven't seen him in this league ever before, not in any series, but he did go out there, lay down a pretty good time in his number 15. It should be the number 12, a little bit of a number mix-up, but it is the number 15 car, Blake O'Connell, for our pole sitter. So we'll make sure to bring him in just a moment. Blake, do you have a copy?
Gotcha, bud.
Well, Blake, I was just mentioning this is your first start in this league in any regard, be it in the super late models, trucks, or cup cars. How's it feeling out there? You just got the pole.
Man, I really love the track conditions tonight. It's real grippy, real fast, and crazy to be out here for the first time and to be on top. So hopefully it goes well and I don't wreck half the field.
Well, sounds good, man. I know you have a couple of familiar faces around you. Jimmy McKee currently in second, Kelsey Rogers third, and some others strewn throughout the field who I think you've raced with before, even Bradley Wilson. So not totally new territory for you, but there's still a lot of cars behind you that you have never raced with. How are you going to try to attack tonight?
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretty much take it as it comes, learn how these guys drive, try to be real easy on it for the first however many laps and really get comfortable before I try to go hard and go for a win tonight.
Sounds good, man. Brennan, do you have anything for the newbie?
Not too much, really. I think he really put on a big target out there for you here. Show up and grab the pole right away. So hopefully we can see you in victory lane tonight.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out here and broadcasting. Thanks for getting me in here. Hope it's fun.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully we're talking to you either at the end of one of these stages or at the end of the race, man. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And again, that was our pole sitter, Blake O'Connell, brand new to the series, brand new to the league. Really cool to see the 15 on top, or all, again, should be the 12, but a little bit of a number mix-up, not on the admins at all in any way. But either way, really cool to see him up front in his first start here, his first go. Cody Spiker was last week's winner. We might be able to talk to him real quick and see what his outlook on the race will be. Cody, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, well, I just had an idea to do something new and talk to last week's winner. I think we're going to do this from now on. you qualified ninth so far. How's that number 22 feeling?
Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of practice, but it feels pretty good. It's not too loose or anything. It's pretty controllable.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, the comments so far have been that, you know, even last night, the track is pretty easy to drive. It's not too on edge, even with the pretty much mini spoilers on the backs of these cars and the mini splitters on the front. Do you think tire wear might loosen these cars up, or is it going to be probably as you want it all run?
Yeah, I really don't. I didn't get to do a real long run, but I don't think tire wear is going to be too big of an issue here. It didn't really seem like it was in the Cup race on Monday, so I think we should be able to go full fuel run and be just fine.
Well, sounds good, man. One more question before I turn you over to Brennan. This is your first time on a short track with these guys. I mean, I know Phoenix is pretty darn close. I consider it a short track, but a lot of guys don't. What's your outlook on tonight, trying to attack this place? You're starting somewhat towards the middle of the field. You have a little ways to go to the front.
Yeah, I just don't want to make anyone mad right here at the beginning. Try and keep all the fenders on it and see where we're at the end.
Sounds good. Well, Brennan, do you have anything for him?
Not really too much as well here. A decent starting spot for you here. Just inside the top 10. Hopefully we can see you do something with it tonight, and hopefully gain a couple spots, maybe get a top 5 out of it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Like this place. Excited for tonight.
All right, well, sounds good, Cody. We'll let you go, get back down there and prep for the race. Best of luck to you.
All right, thanks, guys.
And Brennan, while we have the time, I think we're quickly going to get one more in, hopefully. Let's see. We'll go through the field a little bit. Let's, I don't know, let's pick up Gordon Larson Jr. He qualified pretty decently. Hey, Gordon, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Andrew.
Well, Gordon, we're just trying to go through some of the field, get talks in with some drivers. You qualified 4th out there. How's that 00 feel?
Feels pretty good. I think we got some pretty good balance. I think we're going to try to stay up front on that.
I think that's a pretty good plan to have. Brennan and I already talked about how you want to be in front tonight. You don't really want to be caught in the back. You know, what's your plan of attack these first few laps to try and get down to the bottom side? You're starting on the top. What's your plan there?
We'll just hopefully get a good start, and we've got a couple teammates down there. We might be able to get to the bottom pretty easy.
Sounds good, man. I'll turn you over to Brennan real quick. You got anything for him, Brennan?
Again, not really too much. Andrew mentioned it, a really good qualifying position for you here in the 2nd row. Hopefully tonight we can see a good run from you. You're in a great spot to start with, though.
Yeah, it's just going to be patience, keep the fenders on it, and see if we can win a stage or get real close and get some good stage points.
Sounds good, Gordon. Good talking to you. We'll move it back down. Best of luck in the race tonight.
Appreciate it, guys.
Again, that was Gordon Larson Jr. Good to talk to a few guys before the race gets going. Brennan, we're going to start off with the 1st row. It's going to be Blake O'Connell, Jimmy McKee on your pole and outside pole, the 15 and the 8. Back to row number 2, we've got Kelsey Rogers, and we just talked to the man Gordon Larson Jr. in the 00. Further back is going to be PJ Popham in the 1, Terry Mason in the 75. That's 5th and 6th in row number 3. Row number 4 gives us the 711 of David Heiza and the 89 of Spence Thompson, the champ, as he likes to be called. And finally, to round out your top 10, we're going to have Cody Spiker, we talked to him a moment ago, and Bradley Wilson, one of the hot shots on these short tracks.
Starting up in 11th will be Ken Jans tonight. To his outside is going to be Zach Lundgren. He'll be 12th. 13th. And row 7 will begin with Jerry Glenn on the inside. Jeffrey Ford to his outside. Row number 8 is going to be Trevor Harmon on the inside and 15th. 16th to his outside it's going to be Derek Robinson. Then we got a row number 8. Actually 9, excuse me, will be John Barron on the inside with Anthony Colantuono. And then Jared Washawn will be the beginning of row 10 on the inside. And Craig Lorman will be to his outside, 20th.
And that will run us through the 20-car field. Only 20 cars in attendance tonight, but that shouldn't really impact the racing at all. I think that'll actually help these guys get through some of these first few laps a bit easier. You know, this place gets really congested really quickly. It's hard to race on, and it's hard to, most importantly, race around each other cleanly. It's so tough. There's only one line that you want to be in, and it makes for really interesting racing, but hopefully we see good racing here tonight. Again, Blake O'Connell, a newcomer, on the pole, Jimmy McKee to his outside. Brennan, what do you think about these new guys up in the front?
I definitely think they got a shot at it. But just, I think, as Blake mentioned, just kind of have to feel some people out here to see how everyone else around them's going to run. But so far, it's, you know, just based in and off the qualifying time, it's a really good lap he put down, and I definitely think he's got a good shot. From the other guys that are a little bit newer, we've still seen some from. They seem like they can run just fine up front. So I think that everyone here up towards the front's got a really good shot tonight.
Sounds good, Brendan. These guys are coming through turns 3 and 4 now, and pace car is away. Blake has to wait on the iRacing given green flag before he can launch off from the pole. Out of turn 4, we're waiting on the green. McKee falling back a little bit. There's the green flag. The 15 fires away. Not exactly the greatest start for O'Connell, actually. I think he got surprised there. Oh, and he bobbled into 1.
The outside row there, Jimmy McKee's going to push Gordon Larson back. I'll bobble up there, and Terry Mason get pushed back as well a little bit. They're still looking to find a way to the inside.
Bit of a rough start for some of these guys. We saw some bobbles into 1 and 3 as these guys got into the corners under full song for the first time all night around each other. So it's good that you got it sorted out. Gordon Larson Jr. actually threw to 3rd. Really good start for him.
PJ Poppins falling back a little bit. He's within the reach now. Kelsey Rogers right behind him.
Poppins actually looking pretty decent now that he's gotten away from Kelsey Rogers a little bit. I think he just had to get clear of that 2 car, get working up towards, I believe, his teammate actually in the double L. I'm not sure on that. I think they're in the same team channel, though. I think they're teammates. But anyway, Poppins actually looking good now that he's clear of the 2. But good call there, Brennan. Further back, we've got a few other battles throughout the field. Looks like Spence Thompson has gotten clear of Terry Mason. Terry Mason just going in the wrong direction right now.
Yeah, not the restart he was looking for. He's dropped 3 spots, but I think he's just going to settle in here. 7-11 gets bumped out of line up ahead of him there. Get things all sorted out.
David Heise is going to hang on to the car, though. He is going to get freight trained, it looks like, quite possibly by Spence Thompson. Actually, Spence is going to let him in. Still real early in the run. Now he's going to make a move on Cody Spiker. You saw the wheel hop and the bit of a wiggle out of the 7-11. He gets back in line, though, and it looks like Spence Thompson's going to be pretty easy on him. You have to wonder if maybe it was Cody Spiker that got into him, and maybe David Heise wants to get back to the 22, let him know that wasn't exactly the greatest thing in the world to do so early in the race, but David Heise back in line in the 7th spot. A little further back, just looking through the field a little bit, Bradley Wilson working his way into the top 10. I believe he actually started 10th, lost a couple of spots on the very start of the race now, and Brennan, he's fallen back to 12th, but I think he's got a pretty decent car under him. That number 18 looks to be going through the corners decently. Looks like he's just got to kind of bide his time until the end of stage 1. I'm not even sure when the end of stage 1 will be, but Bradley Wilson not looking too bad out there and just has to work on the car a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to him, but Jeffrey Ford, John Barron have both left the track. Looks like they're both done for the night.
Again, Jeffrey Ford did not make a start.
Really? So that's interesting. Thanks for the call there. I'm not even sure what happened there between those two. Well, maybe not even between those two, but with those two. But Jeffrey Ford was out here. He qualified and just wasn't at the start of the race, unfortunately. So that 95 will not be on the racetrack. Jerry Glenn right now doing a pretty decent job of maintaining. Oh, and Bradley Wilson having some internet issues.
Yep.
And you know what? I think that just destroyed the right side of his car. We were just talking good about him. And then I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if he just got on the binders a little too hard, got a little loose under braking, or what's going on. But he's got a destroyed right side. Caution's out. And that's the only thing I saw that happened. Jeffrey Ford now is back on the racetrack as well, though.
Yeah, for me in the replay, he goes into the turn and then it blacks out for a couple seconds, and then he's in the grandstands and then bounces back onto the track. So definitely some connection issues there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw too. Is, you know, he went into the corner just ahead of who I was talking about, Jerry Glenn. All of a sudden, the 18 was kind of in the wall and then just stopped. And I noticed he was falling back. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess internet connection issues. I know he is streaming the race. That could be playing into it a little bit. iRacing has been kind of weird actually with just everything in general recently with the connections. So that could have played into that one. Unfortunately, it looks like Brad's going to be pretty much done for the next little while. But still, 250 laps is a long race, and he's still got, what, 240 of them to try and bounce back. So I don't think he's got any reason to panic just yet. I think he's still got a pretty good chance of coming back from this one. Well, I think we may as well go ahead and talk with the driver real quick. It's going to be PJ Popham. PJ, do you have a copy?
10-4. 10-4.
Well, PJ, that number one is looking pretty good. How does it feel in the car?
It's really loose on exit. You got to drive it like there's an egg under the gas pedal, but other than that, it feels good.
10-4 on that. Yeah, I noticed in an A fixed race earlier in the week, it was really loose out of the corner. Didn't know how the temperatures here tonight would affect that. Do you think the car and the track will tighten up at all, or do you think you'll just have to deal with it all race long?
You're going to have to feather it out of the corners all night long, I think. There's just too much power. I think it'll tighten up as the race goes on and you get a little rubber on the track, but it's still going to be loose coming out of the corners. You got to watch the wheel spin here on restarts and coming out of the corners. So.
All right, well, thank you for the insight there, PJ. We'll move you back down. Hopefully we get to talk to you more later on.
10-4, Andrew. Thank you.
Again, that was PJ Popham in the number one car. Sounds like these guys are going to be battling loose all night long. Back in the front, though, Blake O'Connell coming to the restart. Brennan, it's your call.
All right, pace car in. This time around, he can go whenever he feels. I'll wait towards the exit of the corner. Oh, and he fires away. Good start. Over to Jimmy McKee. It's going to allow PJ Popham to be right on the inside of Jimmy McKee there. Actually going to have him cleared. Now the two of Kelsey Rogers is going to work on Jimmy McKee there. Not a good restart for him. The double O Gordon Larson. Coming in a little hot there. Has to wash out. Settled in. Cody Spiker right behind him. Thinking about putting a nose underneath there. Larson's going to recover, start working down the two of Kelsey Rogers.
Yeah, Gordon Larson Jr. didn't get the greatest restart. It seemed like there was a bit of a stack up on the top side. Maybe these guys just trying to catch up, close the ground before they got to the green flag, and just something happened. There was a bit of a stack up, but Gordon Larson Jr. recovering from it pretty nicely. He's back into the 5th spot. Didn't really lose too much, and I think he's still in a pretty good spot. If we get a caution now and no one pits ahead of him and he doesn't pit, he would be restarting on the inside lane, and I think that's going to be better on the restarts anyway. So not a bad situation for Gordon Larson Jr. I like what I'm seeing out of the double O.
Definitely, so far so good. He bounced back really well, and definitely 5th is a good spot for him, and it looks like he may still have something for Kelsey here as he's getting settled in.
Yeah, again, I really like what I'm seeing from Gordon right now. He's just being real smooth right now, not really rushing himself, just knows he has to bide his time right here, stay ahead of the car behind him and not lose control of his car. He does get the wall a tiny bit on entering. He's a little loose
Oh,
in,
loose
actually.
this
He's going
time.
around.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Just
Get her
as
back
I was
down.
talking about him.
Everybody's gonna get through here just fine, looks like. Nate's gonna stop, let him through.
Wow,
Nope.
that really sucks, man. I was just talking good about him when he went around.
Yeah, needs a fresh set of Goodyears, but other than that, no damage though, so lucky break there.
Yeah, no, just a little bit of short track damage, not going to bother him at all. You're totally right. Just come in, get tires, and maybe take one small swing of the hammer to the right front fender and be good to go. He actually doesn't come in there. I think he'll come back around the next time and come in and get service to that 00. But it was a really good start. Unfortunately, he did go around that time, and hopefully he rebounds from it. Was looking pretty good earlier. Jimmy McKee, though, going to stay out on the racetrack. What do you say we key him up?
Sure.
Hey, Jimmy, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Jimmy, we see you're staying out. Bit of an interesting choice. What's driving that decision to stay out on the racetrack here?
You say that one more time. Pit crew was talking.
Oh, no problem. We see you're staying out on the racetrack here under this caution. What's the motivation behind that decision?
From past races this week, the tires haven't really had that much fall off. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping to stay out until at least the stage, unless we get more cautions and I see more people pitting, or if I get just obliterated out here by people with new tires. But for the most part, I'm going to stay out until we get to that stage, hopefully.
Well, sounds good, man. That number 8's looking pretty good. Do you think you've got a piece to go win this thing?
Boy, I hope so. I've had some rough weeks in the past, so I'm hoping we can clean that up and get us a good one for here tonight.
Sounds good. Well, we have just a moment real quick. Brendan, do you have anything for the driver of the 8 car?
Not too much, really. Interesting strategy play here. Let's just see how well it works out for you.
Hoping for good things.
Sounds good. Hopefully we're talking to you later, Jimmy. And best of luck on this restart, bud.
Appreciate it.
So Jimmy McKee with a strategy call here to stay out. I like it. I think he's got a good idea of what's going on with the car. Obviously, he's the one driving it. We're not. Got some other takers on that strategy, though. Looks like Cody Spiker, David Heise, Spence Thompson, and some more. Maybe even Terry Mason and Zach Lindgren following his lead. I think Jerry Glenn did the same. So, yeah, I think even Kenny Yance did the same thing. So the top 8 right now, I think, are on the same tires, just trying to keep track position here on this restart. Well, Brendan, these guys are coming to us for the call of the restart. Jimmy McKee finally a different leader out front for one of these things, and he can go, like he said on the last one, whenever he decides out of turn 4. And he's going to wait a little bit. Now, I think, yeah, he fires off right about at the green flag from iRacing, and pretty good start for the 8 car.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I'm noticing a big difference from last night is, you know, we had Jared Mogart when he was the leader firing off halfway through the corner there, and that was causing a lot of people to spin out here. So these guys being a little more wise to wait until the exit of the corner before they get going.
Yeah, I think that's a great decision on their parts. I think we do see Blake O'Connell through the pits. Looks like he had some sort of issue that made him come back through. Not sure what that's going to be. Possibly a penalty, maybe. I don't know. But we'll try and follow up on that in a bit. But that number 8 looking pretty good. He's got Cody Spiker just behind him, though. And Cody won last week. Not sure how he's going to do here at the paperclip.
Interesting, through the iRacing log, I see Blake O'Connell, PJ Popham, and Kelsey Rogers all given an EOL penalty. I don't quite know what happened there.
Yeah, me either. I don't see any logs as far as black flags myself. I don't have exactly the same info you do. But anyway, hopefully it's nothing too bad. Hopefully it's something he can bounce back from. He was the pole sitter and he was doing pretty good. But here comes Spence Thompson going around the top side trying to get a spot from David Heise.
Settled in right now. Zach Lindgren up to 5th right behind him, though.
Interesting that Spence opted to go to the top side at first to try and work his way by the 7-Eleven. He's now fallen back a little bit. I think he's going to try and go back to the top side, actually. He might just have a better feel for the track up there. I know we saw the 18 a little bit using that top side in practice, I believe. So you never know. I mean, the 18 and the 89, the 85, they're all teammates. So that could be part of what's going on there with the WFO cars.
Oh, big time loose for the 85, though. Getting saved. He left some tire marks there on the front stretch. Loose again off exit there. He's struggling right now.
Yeah, the 85, I'm not sure what happened to his front end, but he's got a ton of front end damage to the IRAPS Toyota. Zach Lindgren not having the greatest run, it looks like, here at Martinsville, but he is 5th. He started 12th, so that's not too bad there. Just has to get a handle on this machine. Hopefully he can over the next few laps. He's got a teammate ahead, a teammate behind. And, you know, Grandin Spence is trying to work and get by the 7-Eleven. I think he's got some help around him to try and get a handle on that race car, try and settle in and just attack this place. A little further back, we mentioned the misfortune for Gordon Larson Jr. Ended up getting spun around to bring out the previous caution, but he's currently into the 11th spot, making a decent rebound so far. It's still a really long race, and he's almost back into the top 10. And Brennan, we do have word on exactly when we'll get the stage cautions. From Robbie Buckner, the race admin, it will be at the completions of lap 74 and 149. So basically these guys are going 75, 75, and 100 here tonight. So pretty even stage lengths, even for the third stage. Not much longer than 1 and 2.
Yeah. Call Hero, though, you know, a different beast to the other tracks. Splitting any somewhat pretty even down the three ways. I kind of like it though. 3 solid breaks in between.
A big moment for Gordon Larson Jr. He pretty much just rode the high side, if you will, here at Martinsville. He's got some left side damage. I'm not sure what just happened, but I think he might have gotten hit. I think that might have just sent him to the top side. I don't see matching damage on the 95, I don't think. I'm not sure it was from the 95. Kelsey Rogers back here as well, though. I'm not sure what happened, but I noticed the 00 go real high, and yeah, that was interesting. I'm noticing some late braking out of the 95 right now of Jeff Ford. Looks like he's really trying to get after that 00 car. I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. I mean, they're teammates, and he's really braking late to get after the 00. I'm not sure if that's just his line or what, as he gives the spot actually now to the 2 of Kelsey Rogers and some more cars. But I don't know if you noticed the same thing, but he was braking really late into the corners.
Yeah, actually had to bounce out of the way there. The 15, they got backed up a little bit. The one of PJ Popham that dives it down on the inside on the front stretch.
Yeah, Popham was actually really sideways out of 4 and really fortunate to save that race car. He talked about being real loose. That's certainly the case for him at least, and Zach Lindgren and some others, but that was a really good save by Popham, and then he ended up defending that position pretty well from the 15. Granted, those guys are a lap apart right now. Somehow Popham ended up 2 laps down, O'Connell 3. So those guys aren't exactly battling for position, but track position is key here at Martinsville. Even if it's not for an actual point, it could end up being beneficial later on. Back up to the front, David Heise hanging on to 3rd position right now over Spence Thompson. A really good run. I like what I'm seeing out of Heise right now. We don't always see him battling for these top 3 spots, and it's really cool when he does. He's got a pretty good handle, it looks like, on that 7-Eleven. Hasn't really had too many issues. Looks like he's entering a little bit low, a little bit shallow, just to protect. Almost said pretend, but protect that inside line from Spence Thompson. Make sure the 89 doesn't get down there. And it looks like he's even trying to get after the 22 a little bit of Cody Spiker. So good run going for David Heiser right now. 3rd place on the racetrack. I like what he's doing, but Brennan, what about that leader, Jimmy McKee?
Jimmy McKee's kind of checked out. Almost Tyler Justice style here. He's up by 1.5 seconds to Cody Spiker. Although, to be fair, Cody and David are kind of battling each other out here. Just kind of stay for position. But Jimmy, you know, he's settled in and he's starting to pull away. So good opportunity for him here. 7-11 there, actually big time. Loose through the corner, he kind of slid up. Cody just starting to pull away a little bit. Vince Thompson right in reach though.
And these guys now are within 25 laps of the caution for the end of stage number 1. And here comes Spence Thompson. He looked low, thought better of it. He's not going to dive it into the corner. He's actually going to back up to Zach Lindgren a little bit, but Zach's going to be lenient with the 89. Of course, those guys are teammates, so Zach's going to, actually try and help Spence, I think, around this 7-11 car. So right now, these guys are trying to attack David Heiser in the most logical way possible, trying to set him up for an easy pass rather than going too aggressive with it. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe with some of these guys we see a bumper handed just softly at this point in the race. It's still real early, but stage points are everything. We saw that last season in the NASCAR Cup Series, so that's going to translate here into the BA Graphix Cup Series, I think. Stage points are important, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of bumpers handed out a little bit later. As we continue to watch the battle for 3rd, 4th, 2nd place, I can't help but praise the 7-11 right now. He's in Gordon Larson's spot pretty much from earlier, where we were praising the 00, Brendan. And, I think those guys are teammates, of course, and I think they're just trying to do the same thing right now. Keep the car underneath them, battle for whatever they can get, and just hang on to track position. We saw Gordon trying to do that, ended up getting loose into turn 3 a little while ago. He did go around, and looks like he's actually got some new damage to that car, but still, the 00 is looking pretty decent. What do you think?
Yeah, he's kind of working his way up there slowly but surely. A lot of big distance ahead of him now. The next group of guys here, so it's kind of hard to, almost judge the pace you need to be at, especially if you're having a little bit of struggle with the car earlier. But same time though, you're not racing with anybody, so this is an opportunity to be the quickest though if you can get the car nailed in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And actually Bradley Wilson really loose out of turn 4. I was about to say something that totally ruined what I was thinking of, but anyway, Bradley Wilson, God, these guys are real loose out of the corners. I'm not sure why that's still happening. I thought these cooler temperatures would kind of nullify that a little bit, but they are still just sideways out of the corners. I guess maybe the right sides as they get heated up just give away so much that you're sliding the rear end out, and of course there's not much of a spoiler on the backs of these cars.
Right up ahead of the 00, the 1 and the 2 throwing doors at each other there. I don't think they're too happy with each other. Last couple of laps they've been beating and banging on each other. PJ's going to be the benefactor there. He's going to get past Kelsey Rogers.
And the interesting thing there is PJ Popham is not racing Kelsey Rogers for position. Obviously, I didn't catch what happened right away, and I don't want to risk going back and possibly losing connection just because iRacer's been a little bit weird. We'll get replays on later incidents, but yeah, I don't really know what happened. Hopefully it wasn't anything too bad. Hopefully it just kind of gets put to bed for now, but it'll be something to keep in mind later on. What did you say?
Yeah, I don't quite know what would have come out there. I guess maybe just a bad move and one of them washed up or something like that or something, but yeah. Obviously, Kelsey kind of new to the league, doesn't really have a history with anybody, so don't really know. It may just be, you know, Martinsville kind of type deal there going on.
Yeah, and of course, at a small track like this, where there's really only one line to take advantage of, that's going to happen from time to time. You're just going to hit. It's just racing here. But, of course, you don't want to see you guys get too mad too early on. We're only 10 laps away from the end of the first stage, and you want to see these guys just keep their cars underneath them for now. Been a really clean and green run so far. I really like what these guys are doing. And this has been kind of a story, actually, in this series, is no matter where they are, as I will mention, Spence Thompson actually worked his way through to second place by both of the 7-Eleven and the 22 cars. So that's really good drive going for Spence Thompson right now into second place. But the story these last few weeks have been really good races for the Cup Series. And, you know, very few cautions, if any, and just running clean and green. That's been the case. Zach Lindgren almost got into the back of David Heise a moment ago. Was able to check up for the 7-Eleven. I don't think he wants to use the bumper yet. Of course, Cody Spiker got loose ahead of him. But, of course, Zach, you know, has some front-end damage. Doesn't want to damage it up too much more. But that was an interesting turn 3, Brennan. What'd you see?
It wasn't quite up there. I didn't catch it. The 7-Eleven and the 22, though, side by side, just up ahead now.
And here comes the move from David Heise. He washes up a little bit, but no contact. Spiker's giving him room. And I think Cody's going to try and slide into fourth. He will do just that for now. Zach Lindgren being really complacent right now, not really working too hard on these guys. We'll see what Cody Spiker tries to do with the 7-Eleven, if he just lets him go or what. That 22 is starting to fall back a little bit. Not necessarily looking like he has the greatest car on the long run. And, you know, we've noticed that these last few weeks, actually, from Spiker, is he kind of uses his tires up early, doesn't have the greatest long-run car. Hopefully he can work on that throughout the night. Big move from Zach Lindgren. He's not going to make it stick. Zach's actually going to slide up to the top side of the racetrack, pretty much in all of those marbles where you don't want to be. Terry Mason going to refrain from a move there into one. Oh, and a caution's out.
Somebody off turn 4. Yeah.
What do you think is the likeliness that... Actually, no, I'm going to not even comment. I thought maybe the 2 was around him, and maybe there was a little bit of retaliation, but no. We'll see what happens here in a moment.
Just, I think, wanted down in the bottom, and the 98 was there.
Yeah, that's exactly what goes on right there, and I think this will serve as our stage caution, our stage break, to end stage number 1. But yeah, Popham was just, he got a bad entry into 3, was trying to get back to the bottom side and just couldn't do it. Had a car to his inside. McKee, Jimmy McKee, though, going to be our stage number 1 winner, it looks like, and he's going to lead the field down the pit lane and come in and get 4 tires. So we'll see if we can't talk to our stage number 1 winner here in a minute. Jimmy, do you have a copy?
I do.
Well, Jimmy, it looks like he'll be our stage number 1 winner. Obviously, Results are somewhat unofficial until officially called by the race admin, but looks like you'll be the stage winner. How's that 8 feel? You just got a real long run until that caution.
Well, it feels pretty good, especially on the long run, but Spence just beat me off pit road, so that's going to be a challenge because I know he's pretty good. But it feels good. Balance is fine. I'm able to roll through the corners how I want and get a good run off the corners.
Sounds good. Well, for the viewers at home, you're looking at our stage top 10 as they are now. Actually, yeah, that's not going to do a whole lot of good. But anyways, that's who's in the top 10 now. But a great stage win for you, getting some stage points. I'm not sure exactly how the stage wins will play into the playoffs. We'll have to get a confirmation on that here going into the off week for the Cup Series. But you know, you're brand new to the series last night in the Truck Series. You've been racing for a few races over here in the Cup cars. How's everything going as you're getting situated into the NMNTS?
Everything's been going pretty well. Everybody in this league's been really fun to race with, so I can't really complain. It's been a very competitive league, so it's a challenge that I've been looking for, especially in the Cup car, because I've been looking for a league for a Cup car for a long time, and I think I finally found the one I like to stick in.
Well, sounds good. As you guys get doubled up for the restart, we'll let you go. Best of luck here.
Appreciate it.
Once more, that was Jimmy McKee in the number 8 car. And Brennan, I like that he's pretty settled into this place, and I like that he's going to stay here, it sounds like. But he's got a job to do here on this restart. He's got to try and work back by the 89, who beat him out of the pits. Spence Thompson has the call on the restart. We're going to wait for the 89 to launch. There he goes. Spence Thompson off and away, and a great restart from Cody Spiker. A power move from the 22 into turn 3. Spiker looking for the lead. He actually clipped the curb a little bit. Almost washed into the 89, sorry. Spence Thompson hangs on to the lead. Do you think he can get him?
I think Cody's definitely got a shot here. The inside line, preferred line here where he wants to be. He's got him just about halfway clear there. Another good corner. Spence running a little wide, 3/4 of the way there. I think the next set of corners here, he's cleared there into the braking zone. And he's around him. Jimmy McKee's gonna try at it as well, though. He's on the inside now.
McKee to the bottom side, working the curb almost. Trying to get by Spence Thompson. He's gonna have his nose ahead, but the run out of the corner gives way to the 89 car. He gets that spot at the line and a caution out in the back. What do you see?
Still trying to find it here.
Oh, it's going to be Kelsey Rogers.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and get a replay, of course, on this incident. I think he might just get loose out of the corner. We'll see, though.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Of course, these guys have been talking about the looseness in these Cup cars out of the corners for most of the night so far, so it wouldn't surprise me to see somebody just get loose, go for a ride, and that's exactly what's going to happen to poor Kelsey Rogers in the Suicide Prevention Toyota. Really sucks to see for the 2 car, but hopefully he didn't get too much damage, can continue on. Looks like most of these spins, you know, they get them locked down quick enough that they shouldn't be hitting the wall too hard. We saw it a few times. I think Bradley Wilson did it last night in the SimSpec Championship Series race here in the NASCAR truck. So I think he'll be okay. Probably be down a few horsepower, maybe not doing too well in the cooling department, but I think he'll at least be able to continue on with a somewhat decent race car. Obviously going to be hurting, though.
Definitely, anything to the front impact here, that especially this track, which runs usually pretty hot for the cars, anything to impede the cooling is definitely going to hurt you here.
We'll stick with the number 2 for just a moment. We'll forego an interview here for now, and we're going to give you guys out in the chat a chance to let us know who you want to talk to, be it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, whatever you're watching on. Let us know who you want to talk to the next time we get a chance. It's Martinsville, so you know the interview will have to be quick, but we'll do our best to try and talk to whoever you want to talk to. Obviously, you know, we can just sit here picking drivers all day, but you guys are the ones watching, and so you're the ones that you know, will have the opinions about who we talk to. So yeah, let us know in the chat below whether you want to talk to. I don't know, maybe Cody Spiker out there, Spence Thompson, that'd be a good one, or someone else. I will say, though, Brennan, what a drive right now for the 22. We haven't seen really a power move like that on one of these restarts, even when it was Jimmy McKee out front or Blake O'Connell. They got to the lead and they stayed there, considering they had the advantage on the restart. But what a drive right there from Cody Spiker to go from third place to first. I think Spence Thompson, Jimmy McKee, though, might be in a position to try and do the same. Cody hasn't led one of these restarts yet, I don't think, so he's got to be careful. These guys behind him, Spence Thompson is the other one to make those power moves, so anything could still happen here. And actually, these guys will be doubling up, so Brendan, they're coming to you for the call on the restart. A lot of really hungry drivers up in the top 6 and 8.
Pace car is going to pull in. Wait a while here, all the way to the flag. Bobble for the 89, the 75, the top row. They're not getting a good start. It's going to allow the 8 to get by Spence and the 85 to be right out, or to his inside there. Going to get by him there. 72, Kenyans gets by the 75. 3 wide almost for a second there between the 711 and the 75. They're going to give a door, another door there. Harry Mason, not a great start again for him here. Jerry Glenn's going to get past him here.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Pringles machine looking like it's been crunched a couple of times. I know I always use that ism way too much, but Terry Mason trying to get a handle on the 75. Looks like he'll settle in finally in the 8th position. Not too shabby by any means. Actually, I think he just got loose into 1, but he's going to hang on to it. He's right behind Jerry Glenn. Another good run for a driver who, is needing these good runs right now to try and make up some ground in the point standings. So a couple of good runs there. David Heisel looking pretty good again. And Ken Jans up into the top 5. What do you see with that 72 car, Brennan?
Just so far, the restart really helped him out there to get up to 5th. A little bit too far back for Spence right now to make any moves. He's kind of have to catch up to him here, but so far so good for him. Ken really putting on a really dominating performance so far for him. He's doing a good job. Normally when we see him towards the front here, it's kind of different strategy calls, stuff like that, where he gets up the front off of other people taking some pit stops. So for Ken to make his way up here on the same strategy as everybody else, I definitely think he's got a handle on the car tonight.
As you say that, I think he may have just caught the wall at turn 2 a little bit. It's a little bit iffy. I think the connection might have been a little bit wonky there. He might not have actually hit it, but definitely, I got to agree with what you said there. The 72 looking so good right now, keeping up with these guys up in the front. And yeah, you're right. At Auto Club last week, it took a strategy call to get him up there, but I think he's more comfortable on these shorter tracks like Martinsville and whatnot. And I think that's where he's really going to shine. Be it, in this series or, even in the Super Late Model series on Sunday nights, we see him up in the front sometimes just chilling. No care in the world right now, just doing what he can and really running pretty good in the 72. So I think that's going to be the theme for him all year long, is he's going to do good on these short tracks. Might not have the same 1.5 miles or super speedway speed, but I like what he's doing so far in that 72 as we have a move for the lead.
To the inside of Cody Spiker. Nothing there for turn 3.
Zach Lindgren is lying in wait right now, just lingering around. I know that's been used a few times to describe the 85, but no, I mean, seriously, he is just right on the back end of Jimmy McKee right now, who is trying to work up towards the number 22. He was there for a moment, had to back out of it, just didn't quite have the right position on him, I think, and Didn't like what was going on, so he backed out of it, fell back into second place, and now that's kind of bringing him into the hands of Zach Lindgren. We'll see what Zach can do with him. Zach is one of those guys that is never confident about Martinsville Speedway, but I think he's one of those guys that has the right head to still do well. You really need just a calm temperament here at this place to do well without, using the bumper, basically. And I know he's not going to want to use the bumper, but he's doing pretty good so far in the 85 in third place. So, Brennan, as we get to lap 100, 250, still got 150 to go. A lot of racing left. We still have 50 to the second stage break, but what are you liking that you see out here so far, and who's your way too early race winner?
I don't know. Cody Spiker's a really good one to pick here. I feel like, though he's still 3 laps down here. If Blake can get a good break, he's definitely seems like he at one point in time was the fastest on the racetrack, but it's gonna be kind of hard to come back from 3 laps. There's plenty of time to
sorry
do
to interrupt you. Ken Yance just went around hard on the front straightaway. We were watching him live. Golly. We watched that one real time. The number 72 just went right around out of turn 4, and that car is messed up. And you can tell he's not happy. He just came into the pits real quickly, real fast even, and you can tell he's not happy with himself, but just the car came out from under him, went around. So this actually brings me to a good talking point, Brendan. I know you got some practice in earlier. You got a chance to kind of race the car a little bit, see what it would do. What's your opinion on what these guys might be able to do to try and get the back end to calm down out of the corners?
Oh, well, I think coming off the corner, I think you just gotta have to really set yourself up a little bit better on the entry to get a better drive off. Which in car here, the guys can play around with the brake bias a little bit, which I think he might be doing a little bit here under the cautions. Maybe not really a lot of time to make adjustments like that down the straightaways here, but set yourself up for a better corner entry to get a better drive off. Tuck her down a little bit closer to the curbing if possible to help kind of give yourself a ramp to go up, essentially keeping the banking kind of similar as you drive off the corner.
Not a bad strategy for these guys to try. Hopefully, some of these guys can get kind of a feel for things and maybe calm that back end down. I know sometimes it's really hard as a driver to back yourself up, but might be able to just, be easy on corner exit, make up your time in corner entry. That could be an idea for these guys. I don't really know, but they're the ones in the seats for a reason. They've got the wheels in their hands for a reason. So we'll see what they do over the course of 100 and it looks like 45 more laps. 45 more laps, sorry. They still have actually 45 laps until the end of stage number 2, and a lot of them just stayed out here. What do you think about that move?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that we've interviewed so far, especially like Jimmy McKee, pretty confident in the tire wear here. Don't know how much of a factor it was last night as a basis off of that, but I don't think it really hurt Jimmy McKee at all, really. Able to hold on to second. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's not as big as a factor tonight.
Yeah, it seems like their right rears might get heated up, and maybe that's causing some of these spins. But overall, I think you're right. It seems like the tires are actually holding up pretty decently out there. Not too many issues other than just a spin here and there out of the corners. Hopefully they can get it under control. We're going to go on board with Spence Thompson as we get ready for the restart. Cody Spiker in control on the number 22. We'll wait for the call from him. Green flag comes out from iRacing, and they took a second to get going, but they're back underway. Spence Thompson, a bit of a slow restart.
Lindgren loose on the inside, almost into the 8 engine move key there. Propel himself up to second though.
You mentioned it, Zach. Lindgren through to second place. He got by the 8 car of McKee, and now he's got his sights set on first place. Goes to the top side, actually. Gonna try and work his way around Cody Spiker. Can't do it there. Oh, he's loose! What a save, though. He's going to hang on to that 85, keep going, keep trying to get after now. Second place.
Oh, right behind him. Jerry Glenn around, I think.
That would be correct. Looks like the 12th car had a bit of a moment, got back going. We'll take a moment to see what happened there to the number 12. And Terry Mason just with a big move to the inside, got into him. But Glenn was able to somehow keep that thing from going all the way around, got back going. Nullified a little bit of contact, though, to the 98 car, but got it back under control, and he'll get away from that without too much incident.
But Kelsey Rogers getting a drive-through penalty here.
Do we know what for?
I did not catch what for. I just saw it, and Robbie had already said whatever it was for. Off the restart, I would assume maybe a lane change.
That would stand to reason, so we'll go ahead and see if we can find the restart here for the 2 car. Sorry, that wasn't the 2 car. We'll go back here and see what we can find for Kelsey Rogers, then we'll go back to the live racing. Cody Spiker's still your leader, but we'll see what happens here to Kelsey Rogers, his teammate, actually.
Oh, I think I saw what happened there. I'll let the replay catch it, but big move.
He stayed in his lane.
Oh, just wait a second.
Okay, yep, that... I can understand that one.
Probably, I would assume, an aggressive driving penalty there.
No, I can understand that one for sure. Definitely got to be a little more careful on the restarts than that. And actually, the 00 is right behind him, and that's the guy he hit, Gordon Larson Jr. We'll see if anything comes of that. Hopefully not. But we'll go back up to the front of the race. Cody Spiker's still your leader.
Drive-through penalty.
Really?
Yep. I think that was for the 14, maybe. Aggressive driving penalties there as well.
So 2 drive-through penalties, 1 for Kelsey Rogers, a newcomer, another for a longtime driver in the series, Terry Mason. He'll get back up to speed, merge in behind one of his affiliated teammates, actually, Spence Thompson. And he's going to let the 89 go and get back into it. 75 looking a little worse for wear, but still in racing condition. And I think if he can get a good break here later on, he might have a chance to get that thing back onto the lead lap and back into possibly a top 5 contention. He was looking really good before that one. We have Scott Andreas wondering how the 51 of Jared Wishon is doing. We'll show you how Jared Wishon is doing. He's currently in the 10th position, so not a bad run for him. He actually was atop the practice speed charts for a little while at number 51, but he did fall back, I believe, in qualifying. Didn't quite get the lap he wanted. Obviously, the track gives up speed as it gets rubber, so I think that's part of it. But Jared Wishon still doing pretty decently in the 51 right now, as he's actually going to go for a move into 9th. And no, he's going to let Robinson have the corner, and Robinson lets him have the corner. So Wishon through to 9th place. 51 is actually looking pretty decent. Has some left side damage, has some rear end damage, but looks like he's getting through the corners pretty nicely. Jerry Glenn ahead of him doing the same. Looks like these guys actually have a pretty decent handle on the car. I want to mention real quickly Bradley Wilson coming back from an interesting issue earlier on. I think had an internet issue, but is coming back. He's up into the 7th spot. Bradley Wilson with a pretty good drive right now. Hopefully he can get into the top 5 and really prove that he's got something in that 18. So I think he's pulling a bit of a Kyle Busch here back in the early 2010s and just has a great car right now. Up ahead, Brendan, we have a new leader. Jimmy McKee through to first place. How do you think this one's going to pan out coming to 25 to go now in stage number 2?
I'm right away up 3/10 of the lead here. I think we're just seeing possibly the same issue with Cody starting to have a little bit of tire fall off a little earlier than everybody else, but he's actually gained a little bit of time there and actually right behind him now if he can get a good solid drive off there. So I don't think Cody too far out from maybe having the lead again. Zach Lundgren right behind him too. He's interested in it.
Yeah, Cody Spiker driving right up to the bumper of the number 8 right now, but can't get there, can't make anything happen. Oh, he's loose. A good save, though, out of turn 2. So that bit of a bobble a lap ago out of Cody Spiker means Zach Lindgren might have a chance. And actually, as I mentioned that, he kind of falls back from the 22 a little bit. He's really working that top side kind of interestingly on corner entry. What do you think he's trying to do?
Yeah, Zach's been having the issue with the drive off getting loose. I think he's starting a little high, then able to tuck it down right to the curbing, kind of like how I mentioned. It's helping him get a little bit better drive off, keep him from getting loose there. So may not be the quickest line, but that's just for him to keep the car together and keep from spinning it out. I think that's what he needs to do.
That's interesting. I mean, he's up there right now. He's keeping in touch with the leaders right now and doing a pretty good job of it. Just, I know he's been so, like, he's had such a lack of confidence recently going into this weekend, but he's doing a really good job right now. Was even doing good last night before the race was ultimately called off, but I know he came in so just uneasy, unsure about what was going to go on, but just a great run for him right now. He's been dreading this weekend, but I don't see why, because he is doing really good. 3rd place, has the car pretty clean, just one big dent on the front, and got that mostly repaired. It looks fine. I mean, the car from Martinsville looks totally fine at this point. I think he's got a really good chance at pulling something out here. Of course, we've seen him win in the league before, not in this series, but he's had a couple of good runs. Had a couple of bad breaks earlier on, especially across the West Coast swing, but now I think he's starting to come into full form here. Does almost get the wall out of turn 4, so we'll quit talking about him, but what do you see him throughout the field here?
A lot of guys settled in here pretty well. Move here from Blake O'Connell and David Heiza. I don't think that one's for position. It's not. They're battling it out. David's going to let him by.
Blake O'Connell now only down 2 laps to the leader, Jim McKee.
The leaders aren't that far away either. He might be able to get another lap back.
That's totally right. If he's able to drive up to Zach Lindgren and try and find a way around him, obviously it's a bit risky as a lap car trying to go toe-to-toe with the leaders, but if he's able to find a way around these top 3, he could get a lap back the hard way and then be in contention for the lucky dog here soon. So Blake O'Connell starting to bring this race back for him, almost pulling a Bradley Wilson right now, and actually Bradley's a good one to talk about. He's still in the, now he's actually into the 6th position. A great run right now for him. Actually, Spence Thompson has pitted. No, I think he's had a connection issue. And Spence was just running in the 5th or 6th spot, something around there. And is he for sure out?
Yeah, Spence's quality's down to 36, 32 now. Yeah, so definitely some connection issues for him.
That's really unfortunate. And as I wanted to talk good about Bradley Wilson, now it looks like his car is starting to fade. He's just lost 2 positions in 2 laps, and it looks like he's getting ready to lose another. He's back to 8th spot now, trying to hang in there, but the SimSpec Toyota Camry just not doing what he needs it to do right now. Really falling off.
15 of Blake O'Connell's going to try the 85 here. He's going to get by him, no issues though. He's just got 2 more cars now. Granted, they're a ways away for the break, but more cars than he gets a lap back. I think that's would be the first time I've seen anybody do it.
Yeah, I have never seen someone get their lap back the hard way like this, unless it was part of a pit cycle. You see him lock up a little bit into one. Oh, and he gets hit! A good save, though, by both drivers. What do you think happened there?
I don't know. I think maybe Blake just driving the tires off, trying to get a lap back. Just caught a bad entry there, or I don't know if it was him or maybe it was Zach diving it in there a little hard.
Either way, a really tough break for Zach Linger, and he falls all the way back to, it looks like, 5th now. That 85 is just not looking too good at the moment. What I did want to mention before that incident, though, is Blake O'Connell has a pretty clean race car. Now he's got a bit of a dent to the rear end, but, you know, he's kept that car in one piece. He might have enough to get up to the leaders. Obviously, he got the pole. He's doing something right. And the thing to keep in mind, you know, I know we haven't said it yet, but he's actually teammates now with Cody Spiker. He came into the series, joined onto the same team as Cody, just as they are in another league on Thursday nights. But those two could possibly work together a little bit. If the 15 catches the 22, you never know. He might give him an easy break, try and let him get at Jimmy McKee. So maybe, you know, Cody might forego the stage point, or stage points, rather, to try and catch the 8. You never know. It's just something to keep in mind, keep it in the back of your head, as the 15 is really trying hard.
Yeah, he's starting to run out of time for the stage break, though. They just came to 7 to go there.
And it looks like he's actually having some issues keeping the nose planted in center. He's kind of diamonding the corner. We'll watch him on board here again. He's entering real shallow, washing up a little bit. Didn't do it so much there in 3 and 4, but we'll watch 1 and 2 again. It looks like he's really taking a New Hampshire kind of approach to this, where you sometimes dive it in shallow, let it wash up right there, and then bring it back down, wrestle it back down to a second apex, and just power out of the corner. Almost what Zach was doing, although Zach was just entering high and wrestling it down, having a real late apex, whereas O'Connell is just having a kind of diamonding the corner and giving it 2 apexes.
Vince now coming out of the pits. His connection under wraps again. Fortunately, he's going to be 10 laps down, though, so that's going to probably put him out of any contention for a top 10 tonight.
But it's still really good to see that he came back, and he's going to be able to at least make up a few points here if he can get by some cars that might have some issues later on. You know, he's in this for a championship. He won at Atlanta. He has a chance to go race for possibly a title in this series, so he's got to keep that in the back of his mind. It's still real early, only race number 6 of, I believe we'll have 36 races, just like the NASCAR Cup Series, and he's got to keep every point in mind. Jimmy McKee, though, about to come home to a stage number 2 win out of turns 3 and 4 this time. Jimmy McKee looking pretty solid in that number 8. Back-to-back stage wins for Jimmy McKee. What a great run for the 8 cars so far tonight. Really looking good. Do you think he's got the piece to maybe go win this thing?
Definitely a contender. 2 stage wins is definitely shows that you really have something going on there. So I think there's a couple guys up front that still have a chance at it. Cody Spiker being one of those. The 7-Eleven and David Heise, if he has a chance. Maybe get the car dialed in just a touch more. I think he'd have a chance at him too.
Well, you know who's in 4th place right now? Anthony Colantuono. Now through to the 4th, now falls to 5th, but he was 4th at the line there, and I think he got 4th in the stage. A really good drive from him. Was able to benefit from some issues for some other drivers. We're not going to talk to him under the stage break. Not even going to talk to Jimmy McKee. I actually have another driver in mind, and that's David Heise. A really good run so far, so we'll go ahead and bring him up. He's already in the staging booth. Brennan, once he pulls out of the pits, can you bring him up?
Ooh. Contact between the 22 and the 8 there coming off the pits.
Yeah, you can see some dents actually to the 8 car, but we're going to talk with David Heise. David Heise, do you have a copy?
Yeah, bud, I got you.
Well, David, what a run for you so far in that 7-Eleven. How's it feeling?
It's feeling pretty good. The longer the green flag runs are, the more it, you know, obviously gets a little bit harder to drive, harder to slow down. So, yeah, we've been having fun so far.
And actually, to that point, how are the cars changing over the long run?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the run, it's a little bit easier to stop. You don't get as loose coming off 2 and 4 there. And as the run goes, so does it. The tires go away. You get a little bit looser coming off 2 and 4, and it's definitely harder to slow down when you're getting in the corners.
Well, thank you for that bit of insight as to what the 7-Eleven and other cars are probably doing throughout the race. You've been looking really good. You're going to end up, I think, restarting 4th place on this restart. Maybe not the best line, but you've looked really good. Even starting from the outside, do you think you have a piece to go win it?
We're going to try like hell. I don't know if we do or not, but we're going to try.
Sounds good. Anyone you want to thank for that 7-Eleven ride?
Well, I know my mom watches every night, so thank my mom, my dad. So that's about it. My teammates.
Sounds good. Well, you get back down there with your teammates for the restart. Best of luck.
Thanks, buddy.
As they get ready to restart here, McKee in control of what happens. The 8 car getting ready to launch out of turn 4. Has Spiker back on his outside. He's going to wait. Green flag is out. The 8 launches, and we now have under 100 laps to go. Brennan, who do you think comes out on top?
Oh, no, we just hit at it before the caution. I think McKee's got a chance at it. Spiker definitely does. Colantuono, I think, may have got something figured out here. He's up to 3rd. And then Heise is, you know, he's got a chance too. I think he, as I mentioned, just needs to dial it in maybe just a tick more to be up there, but he's definitely got a shot at it.
Yeah, the 98's looking pretty good. The 7-Eleven did end up not getting 3rd place back from Colantuono, but still a good position for him on this restart, 4th place, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere on this long run. It looks like he's got a really good piece, but Colantuono is an interesting one to me because he did so well last week in both the Truck Series race, the Championship Series race, sorry, and the Cup Series race, but ended up just not having any speed in practice or qualifying. But now you see, even though he started 18th position, up into 3rd place, and the 98 is looking as good as ever. So, Brennan, how would you break down this battle up at the front? You see these guys taking a couple of different lines, and I think McKee and Spiker might be working together tonight a little bit just to keep themselves in a good position. But now, all gloves have to be coming off. You know, Spiker has to try and go out there and repeat 2 weeks in a row, and obviously McKee wants to get his first win of the season. What do you see up here in this lead battle?
They're pretty close in it there. Spiker not really with a great drive off. Let McKee pull away just a touch there. McKee's struggling a little bit through the middle of the corner where Spiker's not really having that issue, though. That's where he's making up time. Yeah,
you can see Spiker's really rolling the bottom of the corner, but Jimmy McKee is getting a really good run off because he is diamonding each corner, it looks like. And we were talking about it with Blake O'Connell, where he was kind of washing up in the center of the corner, then fighting it back down to the bottom, getting a real good launch out, and even Zach Lindgren was kind of using that same kind of mentality to wrestle it down to the bottom, although he was entering high. So McKee is just really pulling away on corner exit, while Spiker has a really good center of the corner. So, differing kind of lines there and driving styles. Do you think either one has any, significant advantage other than obviously time gains on the racetrack?
I don't know. The kind of almost double apex out of McKee, allows him to get a pretty good entry, okay, through the middle, and then a good drive off. I think that would be preferable for me, although Cody, like you said, has the good middle of the corner, so depending on if they catch back up to each other here, that may set up for a good passing opportunity for Cody.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, if you can get your nose down there underneath McKee when he tries to pull that diamond and kind of washes up in center, if you can get your nose down there, you might have something for him, because we saw when Spiker passed Spence Thompson on that restart earlier on, that's how he did it. He basically just had to get to the bottom of the racetrack and then fought by the 89, even though Spence had the top line, had the advantage on corner exit just because he had more momentum. And he was able to kind of lengthen the back straightaway and the front straightaway out, if you will. But it seems like if you can get to the bottom of somebody and just take their corner entry away, no matter how good their corner exit is, you might be able to pass them. So interesting stuff there for the 22. He's going to have to try and get there, though, and so far he can't. And we know he fades in the long run. A little further back, we were talking about Bradley Wilson towards the end of stage number 2. Now he's up into 6th spot, as Jared Rashon has actually moved by David Heise for 4th. But, Bradley is looking really good in that 18 on the short run. Maybe kind of has the same issue as Cody Spiker, kind of fades a little bit as the run goes on. Do you think he can get up there and battle for a top 5?
Yeah. I think he's got a shot at it. Really kind of getting things settled back in. He's had a really good opportunity to feel out the car since he had that big incident early on. So I think he's getting everything squared back away and really starting to work away at the guys ahead of him. Oh,
and a
Lindgren
big
behind
slide.
him,
Yeah, big slide for Lindgren. He's going to lose that spot. Zach Lindgren headed in the wrong direction now. That 85 just does not look like it's handling right at all.
Loose again for him there.
Yeah, what do you think is wrong right now for Lindgren? We see him getting loose into the corner, and a lot of these guys were getting loose out. So why do you think is the problem for him now?
I'm not really too certain here. No, he's kind of having issues with drive off there, but now it seems like the issue's kind of almost gone to the corner entry for him now. Now a little bit on the drive off.
He's been having a lot of issues getting into these corners. Looks like he's gotten it worked out, at least for the short term. We'll stay with him for another lap or so. Lindgren just trying to hang on right now in the 7th position. Has a good run going. Maybe not top 3 like he could have had earlier on, but still a pretty decent run for the 85. And I think ever since he had that bit of a run-in with Blake O'Connell, his mojo has just been kind of off. You saw after a little while, obviously he lost a few spots right away and then just continued to lose positions after that run-in. But now, I mean, even though he's a little mired back in traffic, the 85 isn't looking too bad as long as he can keep his corner entry under control.
He's pretty much caught right back up to Bradley Wilson right ahead of him there.
And I notice ahead of these guys, there's a bit of a battle for 4th place that was starting to shape up. David Heise almost caught right back up to Jared Wishon, but Jared Wishon through to 4th, and by a few car lengths. That's 51 suddenly coming alive along with his teammate Anthony Colantuono. You think there's something to it?
Yeah, I don't know too much. I think it's, you know, we may be seeing a bit of a track change here as more rubber's getting down. May kind of help explain Zach's issue, as well as, you know, some of these other guys coming into form here.
That's actually a really good point. You know, the track, you know, he's going to build up over the course of now almost 200 laps, and obviously as you get more rubber down, that's going to retain heat a little bit better, so that could be part of it. So just interesting to see. Once you get hot rubber, it just gets slick, so that could be why they're having issues getting into the corner, and then just they're slowing down in center to where they can power off, no issue. That could be part of it. We'll have to see what happens over the rest of the race. A little further back, Derek Robinson in 8th, doing a pretty good job in that 818. I think it's actually a really good run. Exactly what Robinson needs right now to just come home in the top 10, get some points. Craig Lerman kind of doing the same thing in 9th right now, looking pretty good. Terry Mason in 10th. Kelsey Rogers, though, still a lap down, but in lucky dog position if he hangs on to this one. Trevor Harmon in 12th. He's a lap down. I'm not sure what happened to him. Blake O'Connell now just 1 lap down by virtue of the wave around under that previous caution. He could be one to watch if we get a couple more cautions.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to quite squeeze through getting another lap the hard way and then be able to really get any positions done that way. So he definitely needs another caution here to get another wave around.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. Right now, Jerry Glenn right behind him. He's 1 lap behind O'Connell, but he's looking for the spot into 3. Doesn't end up taking it. He moved down a little bit down the straightaway. Actually, he almost gives him the bumper through 3 and 4. Glenn not going to have the greatest run off the corner, though, because he got to him in center and couldn't really power out, but he's going to go back to the inside here. He's got the nose. And these guys aren't even battling for a position. Looks like Craig Lerman lost a position to Terry Mason. Craig Lerman now back in the 10th spot. The good news for him, 11th place is a lap down. That's Kelsey Rogers. So it looks like Craig should be able to hang on to a top 10 as long as he doesn't make any mistakes here, no matter what he does. As long as he just hangs on to that car, does the best he can, I think he's going to come out of here with a really good points night. Given these last few races, he's had a couple of troubles, had a big wreck at the end of last week's race at Auto Club Speedway, but I think this is a good chance for him to rebound at a track where normally you see a lot of carnage. And actually, Terry Mason now gets by Derek Robinson, so the 818 also having some issues along with Craig Lerman, but you see him really closing into Terry right there. Did you happen to catch how they kind of navigated each other?
Not really. I was focused other place on the track there.
Well then, man, what do you see around the track?
Not really too much. Zach Lindgren really still battling it out with the 18 of Bradley Wilson there. Not really been able to get past him, but he's still right there.
That's a good call, actually, focusing on these guys as they're starting to allow Kelsey Rogers to reel them in. Not for position, but, again, every little bit on the track would help. I think Kelsey Rogers would be a little more wise, though, to just let these guys do their thing, not even get into it. You know, he's got the lucky dog position, doesn't want to jeopardize that right now, because if we do get a caution, he'll get back on the lead lap and have a chance to go at it for a top 10 and get some valuable points here tonight. But you mentioned it, Zach Lindgren just still trying to chip away at his team owner, Bradley Wilson. You have to wonder what's going to happen as we enter the last 50 laps. I don't think these guys have to pit. So considering these guys are teammates, at least for now, we'll see what they do when it comes down to it and gloves have to come off for the position. Zach is a bit more timid on these short tracks, so I'm not sure he's going to throw any too big moves, but you could see Bradley Wilson get a little more aggressive with hanging on to that spot. back up to the front. We've kind of left this battle up in the top 3 alone for a little while, but Jimmy McKee is still your leader, and my gosh, this guy has led a ton of laps. He's led 121 of 192 so far, and will come around to complete 193 laps. But what a good run for this guy. I mean, he didn't start out right in the front. I mean, I guess he started second, so I guess that's pretty darn close, but just, you know, didn't even have the car to contend for the lead at first. Fell back a little bit, but was still, I guess, up there. Just, you know, we didn't see him as possibly a winner until a little while later. Ended up winning stage number 1, and now I don't know how you can bet against him at this point in the race to come home with the race win, Brennan.
Yeah, it'll take a real mix-up here. Maybe a later caution for Cody Spiker to still have a decent chance with his tires there. Give him a fair shakeup, but other than that, I think something big will have to happen here for us to see a different guy coming home with the win.
I agree 100% there. Jimmy McKee just has too good of a car, and we know that Cody Spiker has been a bit of a slower car actually on the long run. That car really fades after about 30, 40 laps, but so far he's actually kind of keeping up with McKee. He's still a little ways back though, Cody Spiker is, and not looking like he has any sort of speed to just go outright catch the guy. So we'll see what happens over the course of this run. Still have over 50 laps to go in the race, and again, I don't think these guys will have to pit, so I think these guys just have what they have, at least until we get a caution or the end of the race, whichever comes first. But Colantuano is right on the 22, just about, only a couple of car lengths back.
Oh, someone hit the inside wall. 27 of Trevor Harmon. Actually, I don't think he made contact. Locked him up for sure.
And he's waiting for an opening to get back onto the racetrack. No caution came out. I think he spun too far down the racetrack for iRacing to detect that one. And the admins don't play iRacing, so he's got to wait for an opening. It's going to be hard under green to find an opening to get back on the racetrack, but he's going to find it here. Oh! Man, Colantuano barely got by him. Actually, that's a good battle to keep up with, because now Colantuano going for the second spot underneath Cody Spiker. Do you think he'll get him? Well, Cody Spiker trying to hang on to the top side. Looks like he's going to end up ultimately losing second place to Colantuano. He's still got it. No, he doesn't. He's lost it. So Spiker moves into third. That car is starting to fade. Still a good run for him to back up a win last week at Auto Club, but now Colantuano starting to come alive, although that battle cost him a couple of seconds now to Jimmy McKee. I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to touch that 8 car. Obviously, we already mentioned he looks the best out here, but now with a 2-second lead, I don't think there's any touch in the 8. Colantuano is going to start pulling away from the 8 car, and he's starting to make a dent into the lead of the 8 car here, Brennan.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a bit of a crank it up here. Hopefully you enjoy the sights and sounds of the NMNTS at Martinsville.
Alright, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
As we were away, Brennan pointed out to me that Gordon Larson Jr. Just had a rough time out of turn 4. I'm not sure what just happened to him. We'll obviously get a replay up in just a moment. But something big just happened to the 00. We'll get a look here. And it should be out of this corner here that something's going to happen. Oh, and he was right in front of Jimmy McKee, too. Oh, he just got loose. Just down the straightaway, even. What a tough break for Gordon Larson Jr. Just, yeah, I don't even know. I'm not sure if my mic was on the last minute or so, but I was talking. If you didn't hear me, basically, I was just saying, you know, he just got loose out of the corner, really even on the straight part of the front straightaway. Something just, I don't know, he just got real loose and lost a handle on that car. What do you think happened to the 00?
I don't really know. Don't have much explanation going on there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen these cars get loose out of the corner. We've seen them get loose into the corner. But that was new. That was, you know, somewhere you'd think that you wouldn't necessarily get loose on the track. And we just saw the 00 go for one heck of a ride. He's going to bring it in, get repairs obviously made to that car. But while these guys pace around, we'll have just a moment to try and speak with the driver. I think we ought to speak with Bradley Wilson. He's been moving his way through the field, so we'll try and talk to him.
What do you mean, what happened?
Bradley, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, sorry to interrupt you there, but just real quick, under this caution, how's that 18 car feeling?
It's not too bad. A little on the snug side. We made a brake adjustment before the race started and went a different way with it in the garage. And I've got it adjusted all the way back to the rear as far as it could go. We kind of missed the brakes a little, but other than that, we rebounded from that early race incident we had where I had the screens go black on me and fought our way back to the lead lap in 7th place here. So we're going to see what we can do with this whole can Hancock Sim Spec discount shop towel ride from here on out.
Sounds good. Do you think you have a piece to get at least into the top 5 here?
Possibly. I don't know, man. It's been a struggle all day, but them front guys look like they've pretty much got it covered. But we'll see what we can't do here. We're going to give it our best, you know that.
Sounds good, man. You're one of the best on the short track, so best of luck to you. Hopefully we get to talk to you later on.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Again, that was Bradley Wilson out of the number 18 car. And good to talk to him real quick before we go green, but Jimmy McKee has been stealing the show these last, I don't know, 200 laps almost. And looks like he's definitely in the lead for this restart. We'll see when he restarts. He's been waiting until out of turn 4. Green flag is out, and he's off and away. And actually, a kind of a poor restart for McKee. Spiker had to run on the top side, but now he's going to fall back. Oh, the 7-Eleven! And they say, oh, and he did.
Hits this again.
What just happened? Going all the way back to the restart here, the 7-Eleven, David Heiza was starting from 4th. Colin Tuono to his inside. What happens here on this restart for David Heiza?
Nothing he really did. He got a little bit of a bump from the back of the 51 and Jared with Sean into the corner. I think a little bit of neck cone maybe kind of exaggerated it a little bit. And then coming out of 4, he got on the gas a little too quick for the fresh tires after flat spotting them a little bit. And that sent him around again.
The good news for Heiza is even when he spun out of 4, it looks like he didn't hit the inside wall too hard. I think aside from the rear end damage, he'll be okay. What I found interesting was there was an issue for the 18 into turn 3. I'm not sure what happened to Bradley Wilson, but we'll watch it one more time here. He just launches that car into the 3rd corner. I don't know what happened. But, naturally, this gives us a chance to talk to another driver I think we ought to bring up. 5th place, Anthony Colantuono. He had a pretty good seat for that incident right there. We'll go ahead and bring him into the booth. Anthony Colantuono, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Anthony, that 98 has looked really good these last probably 50 laps or so. You got into 2nd place behind Cody, or ahead of Cody Spiker, actually. You were 3rd. You got by him finally. How's that 98 feel? Do you think you have something for the top 3?
I do. It's I'm better off on the long runs. The short runs, I'm not too good. So we'll have to see if this stays green for a while.
Well, we could have a chance here for about 25 more laps of green flag racing. Do you think that's enough time for you to get back into the top 3, or you think you'll need a little bit of good luck?
I think I'm going to need a little bit of good luck. We were down to the last couple of laps, and I know everybody's trying to get what they can, so we'll see. Hopefully it stays green, and then looking for a top 3 even more, but we'll see.
Sounds good. Is there anyone that you want to thank for that performance in the 98 so far?
I want to thank A&W Root Beer and you guys for watching, and everybody else watching. And say hi to Scott and Matt. That's about it.
Well, sounds good. We'll be back down. Best of luck here on this restart.
Thank you, guys.
Anthony Colantuono from 5th place, looking to have a pretty good restart here. About 25 laps to go once we go green. Jimmy McKee back in control. They're coming to you for the restart.
Right. Like normal for McKee, waiting all the way to the green flag before he gets going. Good jump that time, though. Zach Lindgren on the high side going to try and go around the 51 to Jared Rashawn. He gets that by here. I'll work for the 22 now. 22 and the 8 starting to pull away, though. Really good.
And this one, it looks like, is going to involve David Heiza once again. Really unfortunate. We talked to him earlier on, and he was having a great run at the time, and just something has gone wrong in that 7-Eleven. He has not been quite as good lately, but we'll see what happens on this one. Oh, actually, This one wasn't even his fault. We'll get back to a little further back here. You'll see here out of turn 4 this next time. Actually, he got into the 2. I'm not sure what was up there, but he got into Kelsey Rogers pretty hard in turn 1. And then got to his inside with a big move underneath the number 2 Toyota. And then just a little bit of contact. I'm not even sure if that was intentional. And it just sends the 7-Eleven around. What's your view on that? That's a tough one.
I don't know too much on that. That one I don't think you can call either way really. Kelsey, trying to make the corner without hitting the outside wall, and then I think the 7-Eleven getting a little tight there, I think. Put the blame on that to either of them really there.
I'd have to agree, honestly. I don't think there was really any fault involved. It looked like just something happened between the 2 and 7-Eleven. They got together. I don't know if maybe the 7-Eleven got a little tight or if the 2 got loose, but they got into each other either way and went around. And, thankfully it wasn't too big of a wreck, but unfortunately someone did get spun around, got some damage. And looks like we're going to run out of time under this caution. I don't want to risk anything because these cautions go so quickly, but man, just what a last few 20 laps it's been. Just we had a long green flag run. It was going so well, and what has happened? Well, as the pace car lights stay on, we're going to take one quick commercial break, and we'll be right back at Pit Stop TV.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Martinsville Speedway, just in time for the restart out of turns 3 and 4. McKee waiting to launch until all the way out of turn 4. He actually launches early, trying to get a jump on Zach Lindgren and everyone else in the field. He gets a jump on Cody Spiker. I think that restart worked. Now Cody Spiker going to get shed off into, it looks like, 3rd place behind Zach Lindgren. Smart move from Spiker is to give up a little bit of time to fall in behind the 85 and go to work on the 85 now. And these guys continue on, single file in the front. Well, as we're watching Bradley Wilson here battle for the 6th spot, actually he's in 6th, sorry. He's battling to get into 5th on the back end of Jared Wishon. Kelsey Rogers actually right behind these guys. He's now back onto the lead lap. So the number 2 car back in the fight just behind Terry Mason and Bradley Wilson as these guys go toe-to-toe. Oh! What a save, actually, on corner entry there for Mason. I think he just got on the brakes a little too hard. Maybe has a little too much rear brake in the car. Got really loose into one. He's going to cut Heiza off. Make sure Heiza can't get underneath him. And what an interesting lap there for the 75. He continues on, though. Jerry Glenn a little further back in the 12 car, looking for maybe a top 10 finish. Has to go to work now on Craig Lerman if he can catch up to him. Trevor Harmon a couple of laps down in 12th. Something has happened to Blake O'Connell to take him out of the race. Spence Thompson's still in it, though. Gordon Larson's still in it. Derek Robinson, kind of the same story. Something happened to him. Unfortunately, the 818 and the 15 look to be done for the night, but Jimmy McKee up front, still leading this thing, has a great run going so far, and hopefully he can close it out, because that would suck really bad for McKee to lead all these laps, not bring it home. He's now led almost 170 laps. And he won't quite get to 200, but 167 this time by with 10 to go means he can get just over 175 laps led if he leads this thing to the flag, and it looks like he's setting up to do so.
Yeah, the next one back is Zach Lindgren, and saw there he had some more issues loose off the corner. He's, I think, going to be really too much of a threat for him here. I think Cody Spiker's just too far back now to have a shot at running him down.
But you know what? I think this is going to be a really good relief for Zach to come out of here. Second place, I think, really sets him up for some good things in a couple of weeks when we come back to the Cup Series at Texas Motor Speedway. The Cup Series will be off this coming weekend, as the Truck Series and the Super Series is still pending, as to whether or not it'll race at Rockingham this weekend. But I believe both of those series will be racing this weekend from Rockingham Speedway, whereas the Cup cars will not be in action. Cody Spiker in third, doing a pretty good job of trying to run the 85 down. 85's getting loose on corner entry again. I think he's got a little too much rear brake in the car, and that's allowing Cody Spiker to reel him in. You see a little bit of left front lock up there for Lindgren. He's definitely on the brakes really hard on entry. Spiker a little loose out of 4. Five and a half laps to go. And at this point, you have to wonder if Cody Spiker will use the chrome horn at all. He's been really calm all race long, just running laps, seeing what he can do. But this is it. You've got 4 laps now, 2 miles to try and get by the 85. I'm not sure he can do it without giving him a bumper. The 85 is having issues into the corner, but, center off looks really strong.
The gap is really close there. Cody's got a phenomenal couple corners here to right there with them. About a lap and a half or so to set up for it.
You see him really closing in on corner entry. I think he knows that's his strong suit against Lindgren. He just can't make anything happen. 2 laps to go as we come back to the line this time out of turn 4. And Lindgren, another pretty decent corner. That's exactly what he needs right now, though. He doesn't have to have superb corners or anything. Only Spiker does. Spiker's the only one who needs to have a great lap and a half from here on out. I don't think it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, in 4th place, Jared Rashawn trying to hang on to that spot over his friend, actually not his teammate in this series, Anthony Colantuono. Looks like he will do so. Only got a set of corners left now as Jimmy McKee powers out of turn 2, down to turn 3. And this time, out of turn number 4, Jimmy McKee is an NMNTS BA Graphix Cup Series winner. The 8 car wins at Martinsville. And what a celebration this is going to be. He led 177 of 250 laps, an absolutely dominating performance for McKee. What a run. as you get a great view here of the number 8 car. I like where he parked it right in front of the camera. That number 8 looks really good. He did bag the right rear end of the fence a little bit, kind of tore up the right rear, but still a great looking car after 250 laps. Almost no damage to that number 8. Going to come home in first place. But for post-race interviews, it's going to start off with Cody Spiker. Brennan, can you bring the third place finisher up?
Yeah. Hey there, Cody. It's Brennan. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, bud. Well, not quite enough to run down Zach Whittingham for second place, though. We're all the top 3 tonight. How's that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to finish top 3, but a little disappointed in myself. That last restart, I messed up so bad. I think I would have had something for James.
Yeah, we saw a lot of you two tonight battling it out. It seemed like kind of we're starting to fade away towards the longer runs of the Jimmy McKee kind of was able to hold on there. You think maybe a little bit better tire management could have helped you out as well tonight?
Yeah, that really long run we had there, I just needed a caution bad because I think Anthony passed me, and I just wore out my tires trying to hang with Jimmy up there. But, man, it was so much fun tonight racing up there for the lead.
It definitely a bunch of, a newer crowd here, and a bunch of you guys able to qualify up towards the front and really run towards the front until incidents happen there. Overall, though, as a whole, so far, with your experience so far in the season, the NMNTS Tuesday night league, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. These guys are a lot of fun to race with, Zach and Jimmy up here. We had a lot of fun tonight, and looking forward to Bristol in a couple weeks here.
Definitely. Andrew, you have anything you'd like to add?
Not too much, Cody. Just a great run from that number 22, and a few new settings around you, but nothing has changed at least from last week at Auto Club. You won the race. You come back here. You back it up with a third place finish. You were up front a lot, led 43 laps. I think that's exactly what you needed to do. Just a great run for you in that number 22. Hopefully, we're talking to you more in a couple of weeks. I believe we're actually at Texas first, but still, hopefully, we're talking to you more then.
All right, yeah, okay, Texas, that works too. So, yeah, I got to thank you, Andrew, for putting me in the car, and all my sponsors. Thanks for setting me up, so thanks.
Sounds good, man. We'll talk to you later. Hopefully, we're talking to you more next week.
Yep, see you.
And moving on to our second place finisher, it's going to be Zach Lindgren. I'll bring him up. Zach, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, bud, what a run for your number 85. Brendan and I mentioned it a lot. You were really loose into the corner, yet at the start of the race, you were really loose out. What was going on there? How'd the car shift? How'd the track shift?
Oh, man, this car was an absolute handful, dude. At the beginning of the race, it just really depends on where you have your brake bias set. I had it set way towards the back. I wanted to be loose in, and as the run went on, the looser and looser it got. It just got way, way, way harder for me to get into the corner, so I had to adjust on that. And as the tires kind of wore, it got looser and looser off, so it was really hard to get through the corners. But the more and more you ran it, the more and more you wear out the tires, the more and more you're looser off. You're loose off on fresh tires, but if you really manage the throttle, it could still bite you. But overall, we had a really loose race car, but we were able to control it and come home second today, bud.
Yeah, we noticed you had a handful, as did everyone else, but you came in so unsure of yourself into Martinsville, and you ended up second place tonight. How's that kind of shift your feeling, considering we come back here in the late season?
In trucks, I like Martinsville a lot better. This was a lot of fun slipping and sliding in the cars like this, but I like a little bit of consistency, and these cars just did not have it. But I feel a little bit better about Martinsville. I was actually able to find a line for these cars right there coming towards the end with about the last 10 laps. I was able to run down Jimmy there for a little bit, running that extreme low side, kind of block off Cody and not allow him to get to my position and possibly challenge it. But I feel a little bit better about Martinsville. It's a really fun track. It's a really tough and demanding track, and I feel a little bit better about it now.
And looking back, you mentioned your battle with Cody Spiker there for second place. It was a really clean battle. Normally we see a lot of bumpers and doors thrown. What's your opinion looking back on that?
Well, you know, I was ready for the bumper, to be quite honest with you. I chopped him a few times trying to keep that position, and I knew he was running the low side. I was watching his line a little bit, just as much as I could to try to stay focused on Jimmy. But every time I looked in my mirror in the corners, he was right there on the yellow. So I just decided to try it and try my luck on it. I knew you could get to my outside going in, but you can't really stay there coming out. So I decided to just kind of take away his line. I was expecting him to get up to my bumper, push me a little bit. I would have been all right with it as long as he didn't spin me, but the nature of this track, that's what I was expecting. Unfortunately, I was able to pull away from him just a little bit to where he couldn't get up to me. I was almost able to run down James, but Jimmy, it just didn't come through. But I'm really proud of these guys. I'm really proud of the IRAPS 85 Toyota Camry, and I'm happy with the second, with everything that we went through in this race, going to the back, up to the front, and sliding all around, missing wrecks. I'll take a second.
Yeah, 10-4 there, man. A great run. Second place. Got to really, like you said, change your opinion of the track. Brendan, what do you have for the guy?
Kind of more along the same lines, thank you. You know, with how well you're doing last night, and then a second place to follow it up tonight, you really gotta have a little bit more confidence in yourself coming here. I think you really have a chance at it if you really work at it here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've just had absolute terrible luck at Martinsville in the past recent years. Every time I've had a good run, it's either been ruined by someone else or by my own doing. So coming in, I wasn't too optimistic about that, but everyone ran an awesome, clean race today, and like you said, I need to have more confidence coming into a place like this. Just past memories kind of haunt me.
Well, 10-4 on that. You mentioned your sponsors already, so I just have one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
You have a couple of really good short track racers and just really good racers in general at your service there, the number 18 and the number 89. How much did they help tonight trying to get a handle on this racetrack?
When I got behind Spence a little bit, I was really just riding with Spence and Terry there at the beginning of the race, about mid stage 1, beginning of stage 2. I was really trying to focus on what he was doing. I was really focusing on how he was trying to get around David Heiser there. He was really hard to pass tonight. And about midway through that final run, I was watching Brad a little bit while we were having our battle. I was more focused on trying to get my car to stick where he was putting it. He was really fast. I was able to catch up to him, but as soon as I got to him, he was able to keep his line. He was running the high side out of the corner, and he's really able to keep his line. So I tried to take that and put it into my own driving, and it worked for a little bit. I was able to get past him, but things kind of quickly changed when it came down to the final 10 laps. But they're excellent drivers at these kind of tracks. Bradley knows what he's doing, whether it should be the inside, outside. He knows how to really get inside your head. He got inside my head a couple of times, but I thank them for their help and everything that they do, everything that they help me with.
Sounds good, man. It was great talking to you after the race. Hopefully you can back this up when we go to Rockingham next week in the trucks, and then Texas a couple weeks later. Best of luck to you in the future. We'll talk to you later, man.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you.
And that was second place finisher Zach Lindgren. I think he had a pretty good talk there for us, and this gives us a chance now to talk with our race winner, Jimmy McKee. Jimmy, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is now the third time talking with your race winner. How's it feel to go out there and get the win?
Oh, wow. That was pretty awesome. I wouldn't have thought it would come at a track like this. I would have thought I would have at least got my first win at a 1.5 miles or somewhere more comfortable to me. But I'll take it. This is one of my least favorite tracks, but now it might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, you just had a commanding race all night long. You started second place, and I think when arguably the fastest guy on the track ended up having to battle back from some adversity, you kind of just fell into that position really well, and took over the lead spot just in a great way, and you ended up leading, I think I already mentioned it, 177 laps out of 250. Just a staggering number. How did you do it?
Couldn't tell you. Honestly, I I felt like I changed my line quite a bit going into each corner. I kind of pulled a Ryan Blaney from yesterday. I saw how he got into the corner a little bit higher, and he was able to get more power coming off. So I tried that, and once I was behind Cody for that, I don't know if it was stage 2 or whatnot, but I ran that line, and that was how I was able to pass him. So I tried to keep that line each and every time and try to pull away.
Well, you were certainly in the right car to do it. You're in the Ryan Blaney Menards Richmond, I think, water heater paint scheme out there. It looked really good on the track, even though it was a little cloudy out there. Maybe a little snow on the way, you never know. But a great run for you in that number 8. You know, this is the second race in a row now in this series that a former All-Star Sim Racing or All-Star Racing Series driver, who we started broadcasting with, has taken home the race win. Are you guys solidly a part of NMNTS now, or does that the past kind of fall in?
I feel like I'm a part of this series. I've been, like I said with you in a previous interview, I've been looking for a Cup Series to run in. I fell into this one, and I've had a blast running with these guys each and every week. I know I'm sticking with it here, and then said before, last night was my first run in the Truck Series. He invited me to that one as well. I think I'm going to stay with that one 100% well. And that'll be my only series I plan to.
Well, 10-4, man. Your mic is cutting out a little bit, so I'll hand you over to Brennan. You got anything for him?
Just, another good week for you here. This one actually, getting to end up really well for you with the win. A couple times you gotten close, but unfortunately got caught up in some incidents. But overall, I really think you're showing everybody out there you really have a really good shot at coming home a winner, and it doesn't really matter what the track is. You do pretty well.
I appreciate it. And I want to definitely thank you guys for broadcasting this race. It's awesome getting to have you guys on board here with us. And definitely want to thank Bradley, Ken, Robbie, I don't know, for putting this series on. Week, I know some ups and downs, so forth like that, but definitely thank all of you guys, and look forward to running some more.
Sounds good, man. It was a great run for you in that number 8 car. You got anyone else to thank?
I pretty much covered it. If the sponsors were real, I will definitely want to thank Menards. On this Ryan Blaney scheme, I'm a new fan of his since Junior retired, so awesome running this so far. It's bringing some good luck.
Well, sounds good, man. Your mic is cutting out a little bit, but you know what? That's fine. Go ahead and give us a couple more burnouts, and we'll let you go.
No problem.
There he goes, right to it. Gets a couple more burnouts in. Brennan, just what a drive for the guy. He ended up leading 71% of this race. If that doesn't kind of say wow, or if that doesn't make you kind of say wow for a second, I don't know what will, because that is just a staggering number. He ended up hitting the wall, but whatever. What a great run for him. Does this kind of make him maybe the favorite on short tracks further in the season, or what?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned in the interview, it really, first seems like he's really put on a really good show no matter where he went. Like definitely in the Cup car, he's definitely got a really good handle on it. So I think just about anywhere he can do pretty well.
Yeah, he's on fire right now, and I'd say Cody Spiker is another one of those guys that is on fire in these cars lately. Now Zach Lindgren throwing his name into the bag. Colantuano, Wishawn, those guys as well. We talked to Wishawn a little bit at Auto Club. Didn't get to talk to him tonight, but actually we did. I'm not sure anyways. But anyways, we talked to him at Auto Club, and he wasn't too sure on things, but he ended up coming home, I believe, in the top 3. And you see him come home tonight pretty close to that spot where he came home 4th, sorry. So, I mean, another great run for Wishawn. Colantuano was right behind him. Bradley Wilson even in 6th place, rather. Terry Mason now throwing his name into the bag. So many good drivers getting their start here in the series. Spence Thompson has the win from Atlanta. Didn't have a great run tonight. Had something going, just had some issues later on. Blake O'Connell had a pretty good car for a while. led 23 laps, had the fastest lap of the race, I believe, but just couldn't make it happen. Had a couple of issues that he had to battle back from. Kenneth Yance, we saw him battle into the front for a bit. I mean, just so many good names now to really consider moving forward. Who do you think kind of takes the helm? We don't have Tyler Justice anymore. We won't get into that, but we don't have Justice and Bruno. Who do you think takes the cake maybe as far as who's going to lead this series forward?
There's a lot of good names to pick from. You know, Colantuono, when he's having a good night, he can do really well. Jimmy McKee's been up there a lot. Zach Lindgren can put his name in there a lot too when he's there. Bradley, when they're all doing well. You know, there's a lot of guys. I think it'll be a power grab. But just kind of see how the rest of the season plays out. A lot of good guys up there at the top of the totem pole, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's good options everywhere you look, and I really am privileged to be able to call these races for the series, these drivers, sponsors, whatever. It's a lot of fun. Brenner, I got to thank you for being alongside of me all week as normal. We may have some new voices joining the booth here pretty soon. I know we have a couple of applicants. We'll try and get through those as we can, but make sure you stick with us here at Pit Stop TV. It's always a lot of fun week in, week out here with the NMNTS, and we will have the Dirt Racing Challenge Series next Friday. Next Friday. They're not racing this weekend. I totally forgot, so I don't think we'll have anything Friday, Saturday, even Thursday. So I think we'll be good to go for the rest of this week. You can come back later, I think at the start of next week, actually, for the rest of the NMNTS Series season. Only 6 races in, and we're only about a month in. We still have all the way to November to go. It's mind-boggling, but these guys, I think, are going to put on a lot of good shows week in, week out. And yeah, just can't thank everybody enough for tuning in. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you message the page on Facebook and get with us about possibly sponsoring us. It's always good to get a little bit of help into the page and in turn promote a couple of companies. That's it though for Martinsville, and next week we go to Rockingham, at least with the Truck Series, hopefully with the Super Series as well. But this has been it for Pit Stop TV. Hopefully you tune in next week for more NMNTS Racing Series action.